amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remember blessed. Whenever you look my video, whenever you watch my video, share the video to all platforms. Share it to family and friends. Share it in your WhatsApp group so that people can get information on what is happening in the contraption called Nigeria, mainly against the Biafrans, against the Duduas, against the indigenous people in the contraption called Nigeria. I try as much as possible to set the record straight. I don't preach hate speech. I don't speak against people. I set the record straight. The only important thing I do here is to make sure that the plight of the people remains on the front burner and the world will know the true story of what is going on in the contraption called Nigeria.
Well, Barrister Inibeye joins us for that conversation as a human rights lawyer and also an activist. How would you say you've perceived governance in Akwa Ibom and Nigeria in general?
Clearly, and of Mr. Odom Gabriel Emmanuel, for me, and this is my opinion, has been nothing but a complete tragedy. At the national level, it is also a tragedy because you look at it, the economy is in shambles, Nigerians are being slaughtered on a daily basis, inflation has, become worse, egg now is about 100 naira, sachet water that used to be 5 naira has become that they had promised, that the APC even constituted a committee headed by Governor Nasser El-Rufai. The El-Rufai restructuring committee submitted a report that has not been implemented. So you look at various variables. It is hard to point at a single institution that President Buhari has reformed since he came to office. The promises they made during NSAS, none of it has been fulfilled. Nigerians are still being killed on a daily basis by the police. Police are still killing and extorting Nigerians on the road. It is still the same cycle of impunity and criminality. So when I look at it, I have no doubt in my mind that there is clear leadership failure at the center. But again, when you also look at the state, we are not faring any better. It is not as if, we are lucky to have a governor who is fiscally responsible. We are lucky, it is not as if we have a governor who cares about the people and is only frustrated by federal policies. The truth of the matter is that, if you ask my honest opinion, and I will of course always tell you my honest opinion, the verdict for me as a citizen of Nigeria, the verdict from me as an Akwa Ibomite is that Odom Emmanuel has been a tragic disaster. And
why
the evidence,
why would you say that?
the evidence is glaring. The evidence is glaring. Look at how even the governor came to office. I was among those, and I have no regret, and I always say history will vindicate the just. I was among those who were very vociferous, who were very outspoken in 2015 in opposing the effort by then Governor Godswill Akpabio to impose Udom on Akwa Ibom people. And I say impose because clearly we did not have a democratic process that produced this governor. Yet, of course, I agree the Supreme Court had upheld his election. But that is on the question of legality, on the question of law. But as a witness to history, who participated actively in the 2015 election, who saw all that happened with my eyes, who saw how even emerged as a candidate of the PDP, who saw how people were slaughtered, people were killed in 2015 in these state for elections. I was opposed to that process. Why? Because I felt that a house that is built on a faulty and flawed foundation cannot be one that would be reliable. So and the Bible is clear that when the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? So I saw that foundation as one that would be against the interest of Akwa Ibom. And that was why some of us opposed it. But then there was an argument that you need to give Governor Udom a chance, give him a break. That this is somebody who has not been part of the corrupt establishment. This is somebody who was not part of the system. This is an outsider. This was, a banker. This is somebody who had gotten to the pinnacle of his career. This was somebody who had come to make things different. But what has happened? How have we fared better? Look at it on sectoral basis, from education to infrastructure to human capital development to even public relations, how this governor relates with Akwa Ibom people. You have nothing. He has nothing to show for it. He cannot talk, he cannot understand the language of Akwa Ibom people. I don't mean in a literal sense. What I mean is that he cannot communicate with us. He doesn't understand what our people are feeling, and that is clearly demonstrated in his attitude to government.
That is a bit debatable. You talked about 2015 election, his emergence into government. Now, if we move on, he's a two-term serving governor. who was re-elected in 2019. If he wasn't performing or doing the bid of the people, would he be re-elected back into office?
He was not re-elected on the basis of performance, re-elected in quotes. Neither was he re-elected on the basis of credibility. It was just a carry thing, you know. It was a Ghana must go election. I saw it with my eyes. I saw it, I was not told. I was at a polling booth. All of us know what happened in 2019. It was about sharing money to win votes. It has cleared that. These are not things that anybody can deny. And in any event, unfortunately for Akwa Ibom, we have not really had credible opposition. I have to make that point. Because the APC today has become a confused party. They are neither in power nor are they in opposition. You have a situation where today in Akwa Ibom, you can't even say who the leader of the so-called opposition is. You have the Idele faction, you have the Gospel Akpabio faction, abusing themselves on social media, and these are people who want to get into office. That is why the PDP can have a free hand. That is why they can, afford to do all sort of brigandage against our people, because who is calling them to question? Who is challenging the dubious loans that are being collected? Who is challenging the neglect of the educational sector? Who is challenging the fact that teachers are on strike? I don't know if the strike has been called off.
It has been.
But the last time I checked, teachers were on strike. Why did they have to go on strike? You have to look at it. There are so many issues that could have been argued, that could have been articulated in the public domain to hold the government accountable. But you have an opposition that is on life support. You have an opposition that is confused. You have an opposition that doesn't have direction. You have an opposition that has no leadership. You have an opposition that cannot really define what it represents. And that is not surprising, because at the federal level, APC is not a good product to market. So, but even in Akwa Ibom, one would have expected that because they are out of power, they will be able to speak with one voice. But today, you have one person declaring himself as the state chairman. So when you look at it, was a multitude of factors that allowed the governor to return.
Well, taking you back to that, the resident electoral commissioner, Barrister Mike Igini, did say before 2019 elections were not conducted, quoting him, in Akwa Ibom until 2019, means the people actually voted the governor.
Mike Igini is entitled to his opinion. I'm also entitled to my opinion. I do not agree with him. Because what he calls election, I have explained to you. You cannot say you have credible elections when you have to be sharing money at polling booths to voters. That is not credible election. You cannot say you have credible election when the voting process is not transparent. You cannot even say you have credible election when the party primary that produced you as a candidate is not one that has credibility. So this is not a governor who has antecedents in electoral credibility. And look at what is going on now. As we go towards 2023, a governor who was a product of the people, who will have allowed the people to produce his successor. But you have Governor Nnamdi Emmanuel coming out publicly to say, this is who I want to succeed me. Is that not an affront on Akwa Ibom? Is that a governor who was if you emerge through the people, you will allow the people to produce your successor. You will allow the people to produce your successor. But today, can you say
is there a leader that can completely take his or her hands off whoever wants to succeed his administration or her administration? Is there any kind of leader? Have we seen world leaders? We've seen done in America. Is there any leader who would completely not have a say on who takes over government after them?
Nobody says the governor should not have a say. He's entitled to his opinion. But what you must not do is to express that opinion in an offensive manner, is to express that opinion in a derogatory manner, is to express that opinion in an imposing manner, using the paraphernalia of state, using state apparatus, using public resources, while you are still in office, to detect who should succeed you. So this is not about the governor having a say. He can have his preference, but for the fact that you are still the governor of Akwa Ibom State, you have no right to come publicly and say, this is who I want to succeed me. And you are using, that person is still serving as a commissioner in your government. No, he has not resigned. He has not resigned. You have not resigned as a commissioner. You are still in office.
He has. There's been a reshuffling in the cabinet.
I am telling you, I have not seen his resignation letter. Who is succeeding him? When was the swearing in done? I'm only aware he has sent a name to the House of Assembly.
And that has been cleared yesterday.
I am saying I do not know who has taken over from him. I have not read any way that he has been fired. I have not read any way that he has resigned. But the point I am making is that when you have a governor coming out publicly in a state of over 4 million people to say, this is who I want, Akwa Ibom people should feel insulted, and we should react to that insult in a very strong manner. We must not allow the tragedy of 2015 to be repeated, because what 2015 should teach us as a state is that when you have one person imposing his will on Akwa Ibom people, that imposition can never work for them. That is why, and let me say this, that is why Governor Dom Emmanuel can afford to do the things he does. Because he knows how he became governor. He knows that he became governor, you can call it by the goodwill of Godswill Akpabio. Without Godswill Akpabio, Dom Emmanuel would never have been governor. He did not become governor because he had a political advantage over others who had interest. No. He did not become governor because the people loved him. No. He became governor because Akpabio imposed him on us. And that is the same thing that he wants to repeat. And that is why you hear all this noise about maintain peace movement, about, completion agenda. And I ask, what is the agenda? You cannot complete what you have not started. And if that agenda truly exists, is it in the interest of Akwa Ibom people? So I am totally opposed. And this is my argument. No matter what you say about the personal profile, in quotes, of anybody that a governor wants to impose on the state, we must never accept it. Because when that person gets into that office normally, his loyalty can never be to the people. Forget about the show, the drama that they are playing now. Today, you see Umoino going to the street to smile with beggars. Tomorrow, you see him pretend to be a footballer, putting on jersey as if he can kick football. Tomorrow, you see him going to church to pretend to be praying, to be so religious. These are just things that they do to deceive people. This is what all politicians do.
Pretend to be praying.
To who? To which God? I don't know his church. I don't know who is pastoring, because I can only speak to what I have seen. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as Akwa Ibom is concerned, anybody that wants to become governor and is using religion as the basis for campaigning should not be voted into office. Anybody
really?
Anybody. This is my personal opinion.
Okay.
Anybody in Akwa Ibom that says he wants to be governor and his campaign is being propagated on the basis of religion should be rejected, because that is a sign. That is a sign that this is not going to be good.
All right, so let's move on away from the leaders. We always talk about how leaders are the reason for the suffering, the plight of the people because of the way they govern the state or the nation. But where do these leaders come from? And how do citizens choose their leader? I know your opinion, you've been stating like it looks like so far leaders are being imposed on us. But where do they come from? Where did they learn all of this and all?
What you can say, the people, I'm not going to blame the people. I'm not going to say the people are guilty of anything. Because in Akwa Ibom, the leadership recruitment process has been rigged against the people. The people do not even seem to have a say in who becomes a governor, in who goes to the House of Assembly, in who goes to the Senate. What you have is a clique, or you could even call it a cult, of some political persons who assume that Akwa Ibom is their patrimony, that Akwa Ibom is their father's property. And they sit in the comfort of their house, they go to hotels in Abuja and Lagos, and determine who should hold what position. And they keep recycling themselves every year. It is so annoying. Look at what the PDP has turned Akwa Ibom into. Every 4 years, you have the same character recycling themselves. This one will leave from the House of Assembly. It goes to the House of Reps. This one will want to move from the House of Reps to the Senate. This one will move from party chairman and wants to go to the Senate. This one will want to move from commissioner and wants to go to the other. They keep recycling themselves. The people do not have a say in the leadership recruitment process in Akwa Ibom. So all this pretense that there is a People's Democratic Party that is giving people the democratic process to choose their leaders is not true. It is not true. And I cannot blame the people, but where I am going to say people must be held accountable.
Leaders are a product of the society, Barrister.
Yes, where I will say our people must take responsibility is to respond to the impunity, is to respond to the arrogance, is to respond to the contempt. In a civilized country, no governor will have the effrontery, will have the audacity, in a state of enlightened people, in a state of highly educated people, to come out publicly while in office to declare in an imposing and arrogant manner that this is who I want to succeed me. And you now see commissioners attending official functions of state with clothes having the face of a particular aspirant, and you ask yourself, are these serious people? Do they really care about the functions of their office? You have a House of Assembly, Nnamdi. I feel like crying sometimes. You have a House of Assembly of 26 members in Akwa Ibom coming together to say they are endorsing a particular aspirant. You have local government chairmen. You have commissioners. You have so-called aides. You have traditional institutions. To add salt to injury, to make it worse. You even have some persons who call themselves clergy coming together in a conspiracy against Akwa Ibom people to say, this person that has been chosen, and they even defame God, they even blaspheme God. They commit blasphemy by saying, this is who God has revealed. God has not spoken to any of these people, no. There is no pastor, there is no pastor in Akwa Ibom that can tell me that God has revealed to him that Umoino is the person to take over from.
So far, the people who saying that are gaining, that are interested rather in the governorship seats, has been using the grace of this. They all have been saying God, 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 God. Not just one person, but I've been looking for this information concerning what we just talked about of Pastor Umoino. The Mail newspaper carried the story, resigned for Commissioner for Lands, and also nominated, according to the Mail newspaper reporting, nominated his kinsman from Isidibium, Captain Inyobong Akon, retired, as his replacement. Sources in Isidibium informed the Mail that Captain Akon, popularly known as Ikwafang, has become closer to Umoino than he was before the letter was presented as the governor's preferred on January 30th, 2022. Well, just to bring that information to you, Barrister, just in case.
Why is it not in the public domain? It is not what the Mail is a credible medium. At least I know the people who are there. If Umoino has resigned, why is there no statement from him to that effect? Why has the campaign committee or team not issued a statement? Why has it not been disclosed? Why do we need to rely on a media organization to report it secret to get that information confidentially?
All right.
Have you announced it in your station? Have you received any press release that Umoino has resigned?
Barrister Nibe, we'll get to you shortly. It's a phone-in program, so we'll be getting our audience to participate. 0905-995-1059 or 0818-222-9105. Please walk away from your radio set, or you just turn down the volume completely. The WhatsApp number is 0906-030-8705. 0906-030-8705. You send us a WhatsApp message, and also you can send a voice note. That's just make sure it's airworthy. If you're just joining us, Inspiration 105.9 FM, it's Talking Point right here. My name is Naomi Young. We have Barrister Inibege F. Young in the studio, and we're talking governance and the plight of the people. We'll head straight to the phone line. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, that's straight.
Well, I wish names were mentioned, but I have to advise that those lawyers you have mentioned, they don't serve in the cabinet as lawyers. They serve in the cabinet as politicians. And even the traditional role that is reserved for a lawyer, the position of Attorney General, what we have seen is that more often than not, they are just politicians. They don't care about professional ethics. They don't care about their duties as ministers in the Temple of Justice. So, in a state that sycophancy is an official policy of state, what do you expect? What do you expect them to do?
Okay, hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, and God bless all of you.
Amen. Thank you for joining us. What's your name?
Good morning from government. I am a lawyer. 100% right. Some of them are thought that they don't to 100% right. I am what I said. 419. That's the wrong.
Well, we don't know about that, but thank you for joining. Let's be civil in our conversations. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
You.
Good morning, Barrister Iber.
Good morning.
Yeah, I couldn't go on Instagram, so I'm seeing the report of Bombshell, training, and all of that. I must say, you are doing a very good job. This was time of when it happens, you have time of people talking about what is happening in the national that is not representative closer to them. What I think when it comes to stuff like this, they don't want to talk about it just because they want to be sentimental. Like, it's your analysis is so balanced that when they ask you about national, you say it is not, you don't have a leader international, you don't have also a state. And that is true because the national is what you call the state government, and the state has the government. So you don't have sympathy for any of them. Take it the way it is. And I really appreciate that. Whatever happens, I ask all the governors, that's why based on what is happening to Nnamdi, because all of us want to happen. Thank you very much, madam. For now, yeah.
Thank you very much for joining. Good morning to you. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Please walk away from your radio set, or you just turn down the volume completely. On the WhatsApp we are pleading with Akwa Ibom State government not to borrow 150 billion, no matter any nomenclature. Okay, thank you for joining us.
Oh yes. I would like to address that issue of indebtedness.
All right, very, very shortly. Good morning, Naomi Young and the guest. Akwa Ibom indigents should look for a grassroots leadership qualities rather than putting in someone who has no iota vision for the state to grow. When last did Governor Odom have a town hall meeting to know the plight of the people and the youths who are into politics in Akwa Ibom State are selling their destinies to godfathers who have no vision for them? I support your guest, and he has said it all. John Umbo joining us. At the federal level, the PDP is a lifeless opposition, while at the state level, APC is as good as dead. Governor Odom came as an imposition and observing the Oron mandate. Now he wants to absorb the Uyo senatorial with the same. Okay, thank you, Menso, for joining. Like we said, let's be civil in our conversations. Moving on, my question is, did Umoino officially declare his intention to run as a governor? Okay, Dikin Udom Emmanuel's led government has made Akwa Ibom top in everything negative. High in poverty rate, high in out-of-school children, high in indebtedness, high in HIV prevalence, high in unemployment rate, highest in failed and abandoned projects since the creation of Akwa Ibom State, high in non-existing industries like the toothpick. Okay, made mention of some of them. Okay, thank you. Jeremiah in Uyo joining us. Let's be brief as possible. All right, we'll have a voice note. We'll take a listen shortly. Good afternoon.
I don't see it as a very good one on Nigeria. The governor performed well. There's no need of choosing a successor. Just allow the people to do their work. It's not your work to do that for the people. The people are their tax card to do their work. It is a very bad policy in Nigeria that godfatherism is still going on. I'm smart from
All right, Mr. Smart, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Moving on from that, I am to hear this man speak. I would love to have his contact, please. My name is Samson from Uyo. Okay, glad to have Barrister, Bam to Barrister Inibe. This is the view of the average Akwa Ibomite, 100% correct. We have spoken our mind totally. Mommy Eno from Uyo joining us on our WhatsApp. Good morning, Naomi and the guest. May the good Lord bless you, Barrister Inibe, because you've spoken my mind. Quickly, Let me say that Akwa Ibom State will not likely vote for a banker anymore. Umoino is a job of all trade, and Master Easy praise and matter of nothing. We do not understand that. Good morning, Barrister, for being voiceless, or for being the voice of the voiceless and not standing on any side. We are suffering. Keep on telling Akwa Ibomite if they see the truth. ID Sunday from FI89. Thank you. Keep the messages coming. 0906-030-8705 on the studio lines. 0905-995-1059. 0818-222-9105. Let's talk on the issue and not attack personalities. Hello, good morning to you.
Morning, Tommy.
You're welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, the
What is your name, sir? What is your name?
my name is Richard. I'm from Ibejibo.
Okay, go on.
The barrister spoke very well. Yes, but me, I'm thinking that it's his own personal opinion. And if you have not carried out this survey, on the opinion of their Bible, you cannot say we their Bible. You are speaking for yourself. Yes, yes, he's speaking very well. Maybe he's just like he said, my opinion, get his own opinion. It's just for try and balance everything.
Okay.
Totally bad, totally good. And I really appreciate because of their really wisdom. The barrister is dodgy.
Can you point to the exact one? Oh.
If you want to make their Bible read, you should be straightforward. There should be a lesser logic or maybe technicality because it's not difficult.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Quickly, so the messages from the WhatsApp and the caller just now. Barrister, you have the mic.
I thank the last caller for his comment. I don't think I've dodged any of the questions. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not used to dodging questions. I respond to them the way they come. If you've been here, I've always said this is my opinion. But I will not be surprised that my opinion is shared by a vast majority of Akwa Ibom people who may not have the platform that they have to aid their opinion. Now, the issue is not whether there is anybody that is totally bad or totally good. I think that is oversimplification of a very serious matter. The issue is that no governor in Akwa Ibom, no single individual, should be allowed, no matter what the argument is, no matter the profile, no matter the credentials of any person, to impose a governor on Akwa Ibom.
The word imposition, you keep saying that.
It is imposed.
How
It is
it
imposition.
imposed?
It is
There's
imposition
still-
when you, let me state the facts. It is imposition when you have a governor that controls billions coming into the state as allocation, monthly allocation. A governor that detects who gets what. A governor that is still in office, staying in the government house, that is owned by Akwa Ibom people, not his personal property, to declare that this is who I want as my successor. Not just to say, oh, I would like so and so person to aspire as my successor. No, that is not what he said. Go and listen to what he said. He has had series of statements where he has said point blank directly that I want Umoino as my successor. He even called a meeting of other persons. Luke even came out, you are aware, and issued a statement after that meeting, distancing himself. In that meeting, he presented Umoino and said, this is who I want. And that is why you would have Commissioner shamelessly, I said shamelessly, putting on the face cap of Umoino, wearing t-shirt with Umoino's face, to state executive cabinet meeting. You cannot have that in any civilized country. No person that has self-decency would descend and condescend to that level. Public officers, they have not resigned. You don't have what they call maintain peace movement. You look at it. These are people serving in government. These are party officials, basically forming the campaign team, Oswedo campaign team, of the governor's preferred aspirant. That is not a democratic process. That is not people's democratic process. No, this is imposition, because it is obvious. When you have the House of Assembly led by Nneka and Basi, I can call him my friend, he's my friend, I'm not going to deny him, as speaker with 25 others, coming together to endorse somebody. This is the House of Assembly that for the past 7 years, or 6 to 7 years, has not disagreed with the governor on anything. At least at the national level, you can point at 1 or 2 times. We don't have a House of Assembly in Akwa Ibom. What we just have is a building with some characters sitting there to do what they want. There is nobody, there is no single member of the 26 that has publicly raised a motion in the last 6 years. I challenge you, I challenge any journalist in Akwa Ibom, I challenge anybody in Akwa Ibom to point at a single member of the 26 that has raised a motion on the floor of the House to challenge any action of the governor or the executive arm of government. Rather, what they have done shamefully is to become an appendage of the governor. When the Accountant General's report leaked, let me tell you my experience with the House. When the Accountant General's report leaked, that showed misappropriation of funds, that indicted the executive for corruption, it is there. The media must say it the way it is. I went there because I am a witness to these things. I went to the House of Assembly. Ifrem Yang was still chief of staff. They all came. They did not expect some of us would be around when the House of Assembly pretended, because of the public outrage, that they were going to investigate this matter. Guess what, Nomi? I went to the House of Assembly, and Udokirian, who was the chairman of the committee, and others, said, "Oh, nobody can speak here. If you have a comment you want to make, write it in the paper." Come, I took the microphone. I told him, "You can't say that here. This is a public hearing. Members of the public are here. You invited us. You must allow us to speak." We had this argument for almost 15 minutes. Eventually, he said, "We can talk." And when I said, of course, they were afraid. Nomi, guess what? They said they were waiting for the SSG to come. They adjourned to noon. By noon, all of them left from the House of Assembly and drove to Government House. They never sat again. This is something I saw with my eyes. They never sat again. Nomi, after that, guess what they did? The House of Assembly that had set up a public hearing and there was no hearing, sat down to approve the report that was never subjected to deliberation. The same House of Assembly approved a secret loan of over 180 billion for the governor. The fiscal responsibility law of Akwa Ibom clearly requires that before any loan is approved, you can go and look at section 45 of that law. You must do visibility, you must do viability, you must check how useful that loan is going to be. None of this was done. Nomi, the request of the governor for this loan was never presented. It is still the mail that is put it. As I speak to you, the same House of Assembly, few months to election, wants to approve another 150 billion to the governor. As I speak to you, Nomi,
financial instrument.
What is financial? You see, this is what makes me angry, Nomi. What is financial instrument? Are we stupid in Akwa Ibom? What instrument? Is it an instrument of warfare? What is the instrument?
Barrister,
what I'm saying, this is important. This is the heart of the matter. That the House of Assembly is now saying they want to approve another 150 billion. As I speak to you, Akwa Ibom's domestic debt currently is in hundreds of billions. As I speak to you, Akwa Ibom has received over 3 trillion since the governor came to office. So what they are doing is that in the next 5 years, there is this reform judgment debt that the federal government is going to pay of about 900 billion, I'm told. So you now have a situation where they are now borrowing this money to tie it to that money, so that when that money comes, these lending institutions can take it as source. No state, as Akwa Ibom, with intelligent people, should allow this kind of brigandage to continue. And that is why I am saying that anybody that will know Emmanuel points his hand, he doesn't even need to say it. But the moment he points his hand and says, "This is who I want," Akwa Ibom people have a duty to reject that person. At least as a punishment for what he has done in the last 6 years.
Let's quickly talk to a caller too. Good morning to you. Welcome. Your name? Okay, Mr. Daniel, please, you have 30 seconds. We don't have all the time. Thank you.
God will not interfere in people's body. All my God.
Okay. We're so sorry, sir. Just 30 seconds. We don't have the time. Hello, good morning to you. Please walk away from your radio set or you turn down the volume completely on the WhatsApp. Good morning to you, Naomi and the barrister. God bless you, barrister, for telling them the simple truth. Please, I have this question for the governor. Must you choose for the people of Akwa Ibom State? If yes, why not go for someone that knows the problems of the youth and the masses? Well, you should have at least maybe chip in a name or two. Okay, good morning, Inspiration. Good guest in the studio. On the issue of successor, Akwa Ibomites will do what they know how to do best. We have done it before, and mark my word, the people of Akwa Ibom State will vote in our governor come 2023 and defend our vote. We have done it before. Okay, Eric from Uyo. I agree with Barrister Inibeye completely. Politicians in Akwa Ibom should stop this fallacy of appeal to authority. It's a sign of weak leadership abilities because it's used to mask the weaknesses and shortchange the people. It enables them avoid key economic and social issues which should form the plank of their argument. My name is Michael Asukwa from Uyo. All right, quickly. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
I am actually Gregory.
Anthony, 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Fantastic news by my very I want to corroborate with what he has said, that the Nnamdi administration has been the Bible system. At the last count, we are able to about 200 billion naira, more than 4 billion naira, and I think the highest point there, and I think we have allowed.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Nnamdi.
Yes. Your name, location, 30 seconds.
Good morning, Barrister.
Good morning.
There's some people that I always love how to spoke, but today you are just having fun. The excellency, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, have the right to send taxes.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister. We have less than a minute. Quickly, that was supposed to be our last question, but looking at the time, how do we now? What should motivate us to vote a leader, and what should motivate a leader to run for office?
Naomi, I want, for just in case there's somebody who didn't hear me, and this is my opinion. Anybody, and I'm not saying this because I hate anybody. I'm saying it because I will never close my eyes to the truth. Anybody that Udom Emmanuel points his hand to, or says by words of mouth, or says in writing that this is who I want to succeed me, it is about self-survival. It is in our own self-survival. It is our own interest to reject that person. Because when you support that person, what you are saying is that you are allowing this governor that has failed, that has brought Akwa Ibom to his knees. Look at the debt. Look at the educational sector. Normally, for the past 6 to 7 years, this governor has not built a single public school that you can say is a model school in Akwa Ibom. That is good enough for any commissioner to send his child to. Not even one. So, it is in our interest to reject anybody. Let us even not bother about where the person is coming from. Because if we are to say he has PhD, he has done this, he has done that, all that was said about Udom Emmanuel. Look at where we are today. So let us go for somebody that is not using religion to campaign because it is deception. Let us go for somebody that is honest, somebody that will be willing to open the books to see where our money has been going in the last 6 to 7 years, to see what they have been doing with our resources. Any candidate that is not willing to do these things should not be supported. That is my position.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on Talking Point today on Inspiration 105.9 FM. A quick reminder, it comes up Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 10:50. We'll take in enough time. Up next will be agriculture, and you join.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.